What's up, guys? If you saw my story from a while ago, I got stuck at Walmart. Yes, Walmart. Because my car battery died. Ironically, since I was at Walmart, I was able to just buy a battery. But while I was waiting on, for the maintenance fee, I didn't have any tools with me, or I would have replaced the battery myself. But so while I was waiting on them to help me out getting the battery switched, I had about an hour to kill, so I went ahead and I bought 3 of the Spirit Charmer structure decks because that's what they had, and threw together a best deck version of that. I got some of my inspiration for the deck build from Samurai X1. If you saw his build, this one's pretty similar. I think there's just a couple little differences. But if you want to see his combos and stuff, check those out. Those will all probably work with this build. But we're gonna go ahead and go right into the build. You saw, I'll show you guys me building it there, sitting at Subway and Walmart. But I'll show you the build here at my desk. But if you like this type of content, if you think this is funny or fun, or you like the build or whatever, smash that like button down there and give me a subscription so that way you can keep up with some more of this content. I think this was a lot of fun, just a good way to kill some time, and I hope that you guys enjoy the build itself as well. Alright guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Here you guys can see the tokens that came with my deck. I actually was lucky. I think there's 5 tokens that come with it, and I was lucky enough to get 3 different ones, so that's kind of neat. But we'll just jump right in here. So obviously you're going to play one of each of the familiar possessed monsters of each attribute. So we have Hida, Asa, Win, and Area. There we go. It's a little better. Now I got one of the random things about the decks, like one of your random pulls, is going to be that you get an ultra rare of one of these. I got an ultra Hida and 2 ultra Asa, so I just have the 2 in here, but you could potentially get 3 of the ultra rares, which would be neat. So these cards, like, stimulate your plays. They give you a lot of targets, and on top of that, you can special summon it from your hand or deck. And I think that's something that's really powerful in this deck in general, is being able to special summon cards from the deck. So really, it's kind of like your extra deck, and that those cards are always available to you once you get other cards on the field. So in order to facilitate that, we are now going to go into some of the other monsters we use to search these, and to also use them to play our boss monsters. So we're going to play 3 of the Earth little beast guy. Now the big plus on these are that they're your normal summon. They're what you want to get out, because then you can tribute those to special summon familiar possessed, as well as the boss monsters out. So along with them, you play the boss monster version of him, and he has a pretty good effect where you can recur some resources, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Spiritual Earth Arts card or 1 Possessed Spell or Trap card from your hand or deck. So that lets you continue searching as well. And along the same vein, we play 2 Inari Fire because as Samurai X1 kind of said in his video, the Earth one's a little bit better, so we want to see the Earth one a little bit more. And the boss monster, Awakening of the Possessed. So it's just kind of the same thing. The fire monster has a little bit different effect where it burns life points instead of searching from the graveyard when it's special summoned. I think it's a little bit better since it's a control style deck. I think it's a little bit better to recur those resources from the graveyard, so that way you can keep having bodies on the board and keep playing. So along with that, we play 3 Fairy Tail Luna, which might be one of the best monsters in the deck, honestly. It has the 1850 attack, like the familiar possessed monsters. And along with that, its effect lets you search other monsters with 1850 attack. So what this enables you to do is search other Lunas if you need to, but also search your familiar possessed monsters to get them on the board and get more bodies. So it's a really powerful card. You want to play it 3 because you want to see it as an extender and as a searcher. And like I said, it's actually probably one of the best cards in the deck on its own. The next card is a hand trap. You all know and love is Effect Veiler. Obviously not the best hand trap in the meta right now, but it's the hand trap that comes with the deck. And honestly, it's still pretty good. So you definitely want to play 3 of it. You know, like I said, it's kind of control style deck, so you want to slow your opponent down. And you want to use that type of card to slow your opponent down. Now, the next card is it's a high attack power card, but it also bounces cards from the field into a special summon, kind of like a hand trap, and it's really good. So you want to play 3 Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. Sorry, I can't pronounce anything, but and basically you get to bounce a card on the special summon, and that's pretty strong, especially get the 2800 attack body out. That's actually the strongest attack monster in the deck. The deck does not come with any extra deck monsters. So if you have familiar possessed extra deck monsters, or you have, you know, extra deck generic boss monster type extra deck monsters, it would not hurt to add those into this build either. Because that's something this deck is kind of lacking, is that extra deck presence. But what we can do now is jump straight into the spells. You're going to play 3 of what is probably the best spell trap, or the best spell in the deck, and that is Spirit Charmers. And what it does is it lets you search your Spirit Charmers, and actually it lets you get 2 of your Spirit Charmer cards from the deck. So you can get, you know, you get multiple resources off of 1 card, and it's a searcher for whatever you could possibly need that you don't have in your hand. So I mean, it's the best spell in the deck, honestly. So especially in a control type deck, you want to keep getting those resources. So that's something that we definitely want to play at 3. Another card is Awakening of the Possessed. Goodness, I can't talk. Is a continuous spell card, and it gives your monsters an attack boost, which can be nice. You know, the familiar possessed monsters have 1850, so if you get a 300 attack boost, they're 2150, which isn't too bad for a normal summonable monster or special summonable from the deck. It also allows you to draw cards when spellcasters are special summoned, which the whole deck is spellcasters. So as soon as you special summon a monster, you can draw an extra card that turn. And all your spirit for each different attribute goodness, I can't talk. I apologize. The Charmer and familiar possessed monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects either. So it's just a powerful card for, you know, preventing your cards from getting bounced or getting destroyed by hand traps or whatever. Now, it's not that powerful of a card, so that's why we only played it one, and it's a continuous spell, so if you get one, you can, you know, put it out. Plus it's searchable off of Spirit Tremors, so, you know, you kind of actually played it for if you're considering like draw power, so just keep that in mind. And the last generic spell we play is Raigeki, and that's just because I think that in a control deck it's too good to be able to destroy all your opponent's monsters. Like I said, we don't have high attack value monsters. We have cards that'll bounce your opponent's monsters and stuff like that, but it's just too good to be able to throw down a Raigeki at the beginning of your turn and either draw out their negates so that way you can build up your board, or destroy all their monsters. And the last spells we play are 3 Secret Village and one Terraforming. And this is, in my opinion, there's another field spell that's specific to the Spirit Charmers, but I don't think it's very good, so I took it out for the Raigeki actually. And I think that for a control style deck that plays all spellcasters, Secret Village of the Spellcasters is just too good. To prevent your opponent from using spell cards to continue their plays is super strong, and being able to establish your board with spellcasters means that you have a significant advantage over them in gaining resources and in making plays. Like I said, it's just too strong. And then on that same vein, as we get into traps, play one Metaverse, because who doesn't love going off on their whole play and then setting up a you know, a floodgate type field spell on your opponent's turn. So that takes us into traps. The best possessed trap that we play is Possessed Partnerships. This is another resource gainer. If you control multiple attributes, you can destroy a face-up card on the field. You can also banish this card from the graveyard and get back your continuous spell or trap card. So you can get back the next spell we'll talk about is continuous trap card, but you can also get back that Awakening of the Possessed that we talked about that helps boost your attack and helps you know, recur resources and stuff. So the next trap is Unpossessed. And this trap's pretty good. I only played 2 because it's searchable and it's not so good that you necessarily want to see it in your hand. But basically, if a card is destroyed by battle, oh, sorry, read that wrong. Your Charmer monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. And if your monster attacks, it gains attack during the damage calculation. So there's a lot of types of effects in there like that in this deck, where you get extra attack or you get a little boost or something like that because of having different attributes out. And that's why we play all 4 familiar possessed monsters and not like multiple Asa and multiple Hida or something like that. And on top of that, the deck needs the attack boost. Like, as much as we aren't too worried about having a whole lot of attack, and we're more worried about controlling the board through our effects, you have to inflict damage. And in this meta, there's a lot of strong monsters with like 3000 attack plus, so you have to be able to get enough attack points to do damage and get over cards that you haven't been able to get rid of with your spells. But that's another reason that I play Raigeki, is because sometimes especially in this type of deck, you're just not going to be able to get over stuff, and a board wipey type spell is just too strong to not play. And the last, we have 2 more traps. We have 2 Dimensional Barrier, which is essentially just a floodgate for a particular type of summoning mechanic. So especially in the current format, you know, you slam down Dimensional Barrier and call Link Summoning. That takes away a lot of your opponent's plays. If you call Ritual Summoning against Drytron, that could also be pretty strong. Now, I'm not going to get your hopes up. This deck really doesn't stand a chance against the current meta, but it is fun to play. And like I said, I just picked up 3 structure decks, so it's only $30. You get the special token cards. You get 1 of 5 playmats, which is what you guys can see here. It's just a paper playmat. So it's a fun little deck to build and a fun little deck to play, especially if you like spellcasters and you like the Charmer art and stuff like that. The very last card in the deck is 3 Solemn Warning. It's just too good in a control deck to not play a counter trap. So also in this deck, it also comes with, let me see if I can find my little pile here. Oh, sorry, I already put them away. But it also comes with, as well as a Raigeki in every deck, which you can only play 1, so you have 2 extra. Plus you have Dark Ruler No More. So if you need Dark Ruler No More for your other decks, like that's a nice little addition. Effect Veiler, Solemn Warning, Dimensional Barrier are all like generic floodgates and hand traps that you can use in your other meta relevant decks as well. So even if you're not going to build the Charmer deck, it's not necessarily a bad idea to pick up a couple copies of this structure deck just to have those other generic cards. But that's all we got for the deck profile itself. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the deck. I hope you enjoyed this fun little thing. Like I said, I was just stuck at Walmart and this was just something fun to do. So I hope you enjoyed this little adventure. Is fun, screwing around, building the deck, and sharing it with you guys. Like I said, if you need any combos for this, if you're really planning on playing it, you can check out Samurai X1's video on the $30 deck build. He plays a very similar build, and I think, like I said, I think there's only like 1 or 2 cards different. So if you want combos and stuff, he shows some combos in there. Like I said, great additions for this deck would be extra deck monsters, especially the familiar possessed extra deck monsters. But to me, the whole point in doing this type of video is to show the deck for what it is without having to add stuff. But it's a great basis if you like the Spirit Charmer art and you like spellcasters. You start with this deck and you start adding stuff to it. It can become a really strong deck. Thanks for joining me. Smash that like button if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. I appreciate all of you for joining me. Have a great day.